Hello everyone, welcome back to ENR 153 car project tutorial videos. So we're gonna be working on the chassis. Right, this is the third video. So in this video, we'll be assembling the sensor, and we'll place in the battery holder and the battery case. So not too much, basically two components that we're gonna put together. So again, in the last video, right, we created our, we assembled the servo. In this video, let's just fully assemble the front sensor and then the battery holder. Let's insert a component. In this case, I'm just gonna insert the full assembly of the sensor. So I have it in my car assemblies. It's gonna be under sensor assembly. I'm just going to put that here, and it's made it can be made it this way. So I'm just going to rotate it to get it somewhere where I want it. I know that I'm going to need I'm going to require with 2 washers and a hex nut. So let's do that. So I have, well, I guess I can add my concentric mate here first. Right, I'm not gonna add the distance yet, but we can add the concentric mate. Right, we can move this down. Add another concentric mate here to locate that. Right, now I can move this up and down. I want to insert some washers. So I go to my, again, and depending on where you put your vendor parts. So there's going to be general purpose washers for number 2 screws, 9126, A501. So I need 4 of these. The reason we add washers, right, is to control the distance, make sure these are not binding. So let's do face, and do concentric mate here, and face to face. Let's see, I need another flat washer. Again, there's going to be 2 in each. I want to add face to face, right? Oops. Basically, you're going to replicate that on the other side. Let's add another flat washer. Oops, all the way over here. Let's meet that. Again, face to face. Let's add our 4th washer, right? Looking at the BOM, we need 4 of these. Again, just very repetitive. I need a concentric mate. That edge. Sometimes you just need to zoom in a bit. Okay, I have my 4 washers. Also, one other way to control the height is a hex nut. that I'm gonna throw in here, and that's basically a 256 machine screw hex nut. So I need 2 of those. Okay, and that's how you're gonna control the height of your sensor. If you want to bring it down, bring it up, it's up to you, right? With that second hex nut, that's gonna lock the distance. So I'm gonna go to nuts and hardware, and it's gonna be, just double checking my BOM, 21, so 9480 A003. It's a 256 machine screw hex nut. Gonna import that. I'm gonna make that. Again, the process is again a bit repetitive, but it's just we're gonna keep utilizing basically very similar mates. Right? It's the same process with different components. Maybe I'll just add a parallel mate here, right, to just lock that in place. And do the same thing here. I'm gonna grab that one, and then I'll probably do the same thing, right? So I need a concentric mate first. Oops, it's somewhere in I want to make sure I have it so it's not within the part itself. Oops. See if I can grab that out. Oh. Yeah, depending on where you place it. Maybe add a mate here, right? It's repeating the process at this point. Add a mate here, right? A parallel mate. Click OK. Now, what I want to do is just pretty straightforward. That I want these 2 faces, right? That face and the face of my standoff be coincident, right? Basically, with the nut, where you're going to control the height of it. All right, so I want 2 screws here. So those are going to be the 1/8 diameter by 1/8 440 shoulder screw. I'm going to insert a component. Find the parts. We go to screws. It's going to be a 440. So 973. Um, 973 458410. So that's what I'm looking for. And it's going to be again concentric mate between any circle or edge and the location. Also want a bottom face to that top face of the chassis, and maybe add a parallel mate here to lock the location. So I have a bunch of stuff here, so maybe we'll create a new folder. Call this sensor mates. Let's start dropping these in there. Right, and we have another screw right here. I'm gonna grab another one, again holding the control key down. Let's fully mate that. Concentric mate here. I want my bottom face. They have a coincident relation to that top face of the chassis. So maybe, again, it's not needed, but we'll also just lock it at a parallel relation, right? So that does not turn. So again, just to keep things organized, I might just add a new folder, call this sensor. Well, we can call it the sensor. So all these are the sensor mounting. Again, naming is a more preference thing, right? But make sure you do have those folders in there because you are graded to make sure your tree is neat and it's easy to go through and look through to make sure to find the right mate. So I have my sensor assembly done. Let's go ahead and save. The next thing I want to do is insert the component. Let's do the let's go to vendor parts, and then let's make our battery. So there's this ENR3 battery holder, and I'll put this folder on the M drive, the battery holder, so you guys have access to the battery holder, battery assembly, and the AA battery. So this is going to be taped to your chassis again. So we did not create the mounting holes for it. So how really mating this is more of just kind of getting it in so I'm going to mate the bottom face to that top face of the chassis, right? Coincidence, going to slide on top of it. What really the whole point of this is just trying to show where it is. What I might want to do here is maybe add a distance mate between that face. Let's say this, and maybe let's do 0.075. Well, also what we can do is maybe add a distance mate from here and to here, and we can do 1 inch away from that. So now that's fixed. Again, we really don't machine the mounting holes for the battery. Right, this is a new this is a 3D printed part. So most students just tape that on there, or they just simply place it on there. So what we want to do next is I'll insert another component, and I have my battery assembly, which is basically just a battery holder that we found on GrabCAD, and a couple of AA batteries. And I'll throw this assembly on the M drive so you guys have access to that. And let's rotate that. I want these to be shown in the bottom. Let's do that. Let's add a tangent with my bottom face, right? Maybe add a parallel relation between that face and this face. Let's do. Actually, let's delete that parallel. Let's see if we add. If we add a coincident relation between those two. So I don't want that to be tangent, do I? Let's delete that tangent. I'm just trying to think of what's the best way to mate this, right? So maybe right? Since it's curved, it's going to be a bit more complicated. So let's do, so I have a coincident here. Let's think about this for a bit. If I do, let's see, I do that face, and if I add a parallel relation, something's locking that. Oh, did I not delete? Oh, yep, I did not delete that. So that was what's causing it to, oh, sorry. So let's add let's do this face, that face, and let's do that face and this face. Perfect. So I have three, right? I have coincident between that face and this face. I also have a coincident between that face and this face. Also have a coincident between my bottom face and my base face for the battery. So I believe that's it for the third video. So let's go ahead and clean this up. So I have sensor mates. Let's create a new folder. I'm gonna call this battery. Oops. Battery holder mates. And let's throw those on there. Maybe create a new folder here called battery, and throw the battery holder and the battery assembly. One thing I want to also add in my last video, or actually let's do this in the next video. We'll do all of the rear assembly. But that should be it for chassis assembly 3. So thank you for watching, and we're almost done, right? We have one more video and we'll have this whole assembly done.